And we are kicking off Classic Tetris Monthly Mega Masters for April 2025. There are 4 quadrants. You know, Dog, Hydrant, Alex D, SV, they're in the top 32. Scooty, Panic Portal, Fractal, Heyo Knight, Meme, Neko, Huff, Cobra, they are in the top 32. Dangler, Cole, Allenbot, Sidnef. So they're all in the top 32. All these preliminary brackets, rounds 1 and 2, are to determine who gets into that top 32. So today, we're going to do the orange bracket, the olive bracket. That's match, I can't even talk. Match 6 and match 22. So let's go ahead and get these players started. They are itching to play Tetris. And I say, let us not delay them any further. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And I am updating the rounds. It's so, we just finished the Masters event. And here we are already playing Mega Masters. Like, there's no rest here in Classic Tetris Monthly. We just go right 1 month to the next, to the next, to the next. Bringing Classic Tetris to you guys. On the left side, it is Somalian, a longtime community member, qualified into seed number 45 with a 1.13 million average of 2 games played in a 90-minute qualifying period. Somalian from the USA has a PB of 1.63 million. He's at 68,000. There's a Tetris for Eezy, 51,000. Somalian is a 2-time Hopeful Circuit winner and a 2-time Challengers Circuit winner. The last time he won one of those, that was December 2022. That was Hopefuls. And has also played in Mega Masters every year. So he's made it in. Even that first year where it's just the top 32. Some of y'all don't remember that. It used to just be top 32. He's also played in CTWC in 2021, 22, and 24. Also played in CTEC, the online years 2020 and 2021. On the right side, it is Evesy qualifying in with a 1.096 into seed number 52 from Great Britain with a PB of 1.22 million. This is Evesy's first Mega Masters. Was top 4 in Futures Circuit last month. And she was the organizer of the original Classic Tetris Level 12 tournament. So any of you Classic Tetris Level 12 fans out there, Evesy, along with, who was it? Was it Semi Logo? I think it was Semi Logo. Those were the 2 original organizers of CT12. And then also organized the next year. I think Pumpy Heart took it over in 2023 and 2024. 165 for Somalian, 215 here for Evesy. And I was so anxious to get this started. I'm like, stencils, I don't have to worry about them. But some of these stencils are a little jacked up, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. All right, 211 here for Somalian, 261 for Eezy. They're not that bad. They're fine. I've seen far worse, okay? I go back to the years that Yanni was playing, so I've seen worse. These are best of 5, by the way. Mega Masters is a 64-player Tetris championship, the biggest online championship. Been running since 2022. We started out our first year. Prize pool was like $6,300, and last year it was over $26,000. We paid our first place player $10,000. That was Fractal. Fractal was the winner of our first and most recent Mega Masters. Alex T won it in 2023. Those are the 2 players who were in the most recent CTM Masters event finals. 360 here for Eezy, 325 for Somalian. All right, Somalian's going to set up long bar, column 9, another long bar for the Tetris 372, 383. This is a single elimination tournament. Super brutal. On some level, I wish it could be a double elimination tournament, but we would never get it done. Nor would we ever be able to schedule it. Those of you who have tried to schedule Tetris players for matches, more than two players at a time, pretty impossible. Yeah, Eezy knows. 410 for Eezy. There is a split, maybe double or triple there for Somalian. Trying to work his board back down. But yeah, double elimination, I think, for a big tournament would be a disaster. But I don't know, 64 player flat bracket. First year we're doing it for Mega Masters. Last year was just a regular single elim tournament standard format with a seed 1 versus seed 64. And as great as all the players are who make it into these top 64, I mean, I think you'd have to concede that a 1 versus 64 is a very lopsided match. So the flat bracket will allow us to just have some closer matches early on. So it's really just like those lower half of the bracket fighting it out to see who gets into the top 32. So more competitive matches this year. Really excited to see that. 460 for Somalian, 508 for Evesy. Tetris, Eezy, 532. Somalian is into 19. He's at 484. And Eezy is going to Tetris in at 556. So about a 70,000 point lead for Eezy here in game number 1. There's a Tetris Somalian, 562. 605 for Eezy. I'll be really curious to see, how deep some of these round 1 and round 2 players will go. Of course, we have some great players playing in round 2. I mean, players that are in, Masters, even top 16. A couple of them made it, sort of to the lower half, below top 16 seeds. So I'll be really curious to see what the deepest runs are. 658 here for Eezy. 643 for Somalian. And Eezy Eezy could have taken a triple, and that would have been a triple, but instead she's just going to clean this board up. Finally is just going to take that triple. I wonder if she thought it would be a Tetris, not sure. Okay, but Eezy cleaning it up, set up for that triple column 2. There's a long bar in. Trying to clean this up. This is going to allow Somalian into the lead at 704, but Somalian is ahead by about 7 lines as well. And Somalian very quickly set up for a Tetris. Long bar gets in. Tetris him. 732. There's a Tetris Eezy. 713. Players in chat talking about nestris.org. That is a little online competitive thingamabob, which we will be live for during the launch Wednesday night. I'm going to have Ansel, who is the creator of nestris.org, and we're going to be on there. I'm going to be playing. Maybe Ansel will play. We'll be watching other matches because you can watch matches, and we'll be taking your questions about how to get the most out of nestris.org. 8:36 for Somalian. That's going to be Wednesday night here in Texas. I think that's early morning Europe. Or late night, like midnight, 1 a.m. So sorry about that, Europe. 806. Sorry again from CTM. 807 for our Eezy. 906 for Somalian. in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. All right, there was a Maturino contribution in six in bits earlier. Oh my God, Jay in the, yeah, thank you, right during the fire. Like during the fire. All right, let me thank everybody who contributed to the channel. Jay in the window with the 30,000, 20,000, 10,000 countdown bits, which is insane. Jay, oh, it was before the fire. Well, I was watching Tetris there, which is a part, you know. Thank you so much, Jay in the window. Really appreciate that. Amazing support. That is just utterly bonkers. All right, Somalian here needs something for that left side. He is rolling, so should be able to maneuver pieces there. Eezy tapping, table tapping. And that is going to be a top out for Somalian here in game number 2. And Eezy is going to tie it up. But anyway, Jay in the window, that is a absolutely crazy contribution to the prize pool. Thank you so much. I don't know how to thank you. Says MEGAMASTERS, let's go. Appreciate that. In Somalian and Eezy in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And by the way, Somalian is totally wearing a, a shirt that is not a backwards. It's a, what normal shirt with normal writing on it. Just so you know. I think this is the first use of the backward shirt on CTM. I had the idea for the reverse shirt like years ago, and I finally did it. And I love it, and it's perfect. It's like sometimes the streamer has to put your camera backwards, and yet, it doesn't look right. So this is the perfect thing for that. 68,000 for Somalian, 48,000 for Eezy, who is dealing with a Spire. Yeah, the Omega bits, the Omega countdown bits is just crazy. Jay, I don't even know how to thank you for that. I might start crying. Don't make me cry with your support. Don't do it. 138 for Somalian, 78,000 for Eezy here in this orange bracket. Oh, olive bracket. Olive. I keep saying olive and orange. I can't wait till the olive bracket is over so I never have to say olive again. 108 from Eezy, 186 from Somalian. Yeah, somehow Somalian is frontwards, but his whole universe is backwards, like he's in a mirror universe. Calendar's going the wrong way. Flags backwards. It's crazy. 156 for Eezy. There's a Tetris Somalian, 235. Yeah, the mirror universe, like in Star Trek. Or the mirror dimension. Nobody watches Star Trek here, right? The old people do. Young people don't care. Oh, and the Flash. There's a mirror dimension in the Flash. Yeah, no. Younger people don't care about Star Trek. They care about Star Wars because they have like Baby Yoda and Porgs and, and cutesy little characters. And Star Trek just has like ugly ass Klingons. 307 for Somalian, 270 for Eezy. They have triples, but they don't have faces. Yeah, Star Trek doesn't make good toys, All right, all the Trekkers are coming out of the woodwork. 296 for Eezy, 335 for Somalian. And by the way, I know he's not called Baby Yoda or it or whatever it is. It's like Grigo or Grigu or whatever. I don't know what it is. Star Trek, yeah, weird ears. If you want weird ears, Star Trek is your series. 342 for Eezy, 382 for Somalian. Tetris Evesy. They're one line apart, and Somalian ahead by 18,000 points. It's Grugoop. Oh my, Grogu. Yeah, see, I don't know. I can't do it. One of these days, I'll watch the last trilogy or whatever of Star Wars, but. $454 for Somalian, $435 for Eezy. Don't waste my time. 7 through 9 is hot garbage, says Tetris. It's a trap. Younger people like the episode 1, 2, and 3 with Jar Jar and Anakin, and I don't like sand. Is that what you're saying? Peacock Hands is confused. Like, I don't watch a lot of that stuff, you know, like, you know, I'm not saying, oh, you know, look at me, I don't watch that. But I really don't end up watching a lot of, like, Marvel and, you know, all these, like, huge series or whatever based on, you know, they just extending the IP over and over again. But I have this fantasy that one weekend I'm just going to watch all of it just to get it all out of the way. 539 Eezy. Like, I'll just watch every Marvel movie and every DC movie, every Star Wars, and I'll just bash it out over a long weekend. 545 for Evesy, 560 for Somalian. There's a Tetris Somalian. Players are into level 19, where the speed is increased by 50%. I need more than a weekend. Yeah. I watched all the Harry Potters because Harry Hung paid me $100. He's like, you won't watch all the Harry Potters. And I'm like, you know, I don't know, like, you want to bet $100? And I watched all the Harry Potters because he gave me $100. 626 for Evesy, 667 for Somalian. And remember, this is not the only match in this stream. The winner of this will face DanV, former CTM Masters event champion. There's a Tetris Evesy 661. He didn't think I would do it, but I did it. I didn't think I would do it. They were fine. And then Sue made me watch all the Lord of the Rings. And I prefer the Harry Potter. Tetris for Evesy 721, 708, now 737 for Somalian. I got to do what I can to, you know, grind out support for CTM. And if it means watching Harry Potter, Evesy 755, 798 for Somalian. Zempro, what's up, dog? All right, Tetris is for both. 832 for Somalian, 818 for Evesy. Somalian rolling, Evesy table tapping. By the way, as far as I know, there very well could be a fire. I mean, who knows? I didn't really look. I just assume that there wasn't. Because it's Boy Who Cried Wolf. This fire alarm has gone off literally dozens of times since I lived here, and it's never a fire, but one time it's going to get me, right? 991 for Somalian, 935 for Eezy. There's a Tetris Eezy. Just a few lines away from that level 29 transition where the speed will increase. And it looks like Eezy with a rolling switch here. As we approach level 29, Somalian's got the max out. Eezy about 27,000 points behind, one Tetris behind. And we're getting a little droughted. And oh my word. Eezy gets a long bar. Oh, Nick does not get the long bar over. So Eezy cannot four-tap that bar over to the right. And they're both topping out at the same time. And Somalian was ahead when it happened. So Somalian will go up 2-1. Let's go. 3-2-1 Tetris. You have a level 32 in comp. Eezy does. All right. STOOJ. Stooge. The Stooge opening. All right. These are best of fives. The first player with a 3 next to their name is the winner. Tetris Somalian. And anyway, those of you who want an update on this other thing, which is removing all of our VODs off of Twitch and over to YouTube. We started off with 1,540 hours of stuff, and we had to get it down to under 100. So we are now under 100. I think I have 80 on there. I'm getting rid of it all. I mean, it's all going on YouTube because we still need room for highlights and stuff. We also had about 200 something hours on monthly Tetris 2 Twitch. So that will be moving over. The majority of all the challengers and below stuff is on our monthly Tetris 2 YouTube channel. So if you want to see that, we'll be making a lot of that public very soon. So if you want to get in on that, go to youtube.com/monthly Tetris 2 with the number 2. But if you look it up, it's monthly Tetris TW, or no, classic Tetris monthly TWO. And I had some stuff over on my personal channel too from CTM back in the day, like Tetris death matches. Dirty Tetris for Somalian, 196, 137 for Eezy. I was able to preserve a lot of the chat for the Masters event, but I was not able to do it for, there's just no time. Preserve all the chat for the other stuff. So all that very important chat from challengers and futures and hopefuls, that is gone. And, thanks Twitch for making us do that. So yeah, Eezy sticking with the roll. Good point. Eezy sticking with rolling here in this game number 4. We saw her earlier table tapping and then do that roll switch as she was approaching level 29 in the most recent game, but now sticking with rolling. $227 Eezy, $293 for Somalian. There's a monthly Tetris 2 YouTube channel. In fact, I am now simul-streaming these live streams onto 2 YouTube channels just to have a backup, just in case something happens. So you could literally watch this on monthly Tetris 2, but don't, because we're not monetized. Like on YouTube. On Twitch, we're just going to this channel, but am I reading 3 chats? Yeah, I am. Actually, I'm reading I'm just reading Twitch right now. 301 for Eezy, 367 for Somalian. There's a lot of duplicates over there in what I moved over, so I may ask for help just kind of eliminating duplicates or maybe cutting out individual matches or something like that. 346 for Evesy, 399 for Somalian. One of the things that Twitch has done to us all is a lot of the links to people's PBs are to like Twitch highlights and things like that. And a lot of the links to matches are to Twitch highlights, like in the match database and stuff like that. Or not, or, you know, not, I don't think in the match database thing, but a lot of places where matches are linked, it's Twitch highlights, and those are all gone. So we can thank Twitch for imposing that on us. I mean, I get that it's a free platform, basically, you know, like I can go on here, no upfront charge, but I would have paid a certain monthly amount to preserve a lot more highlights just to preserve Tetris history on Twitch. 426 for Eezy, 496 for Somalian. Oh, that's true. What if we get a copyright strike for duplicating monthly Tetris material? Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. All right, Tetris for Somalian, 528 into 19, 552 now. There's a Tetris Evesy, 481. She's going to get a Tetris 505. Remember, there is one more match coming up today. I don't have the schedule slide updated, but after the two matches today, I will, you know, just walk you through verbally what is scheduled so far. I guess the big thing to know about is the Deathmatch March finals are on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Texas time. Oh, Somalian's board starting to climb a little bit. Okay, he's got to uncover this. Chucks a long bar over that well, but he's bringing it down quickly. Uncovers the well. Lashal, thanks for the sub, and a long bar down for Somalian. It's 6 p.m. Tetris time, Texas time. Did I say Tetris time? Speaking of Tetris time, just won the Desert Qualifier again, right? Didn't he win that? Did he win that twice? Or he won Washington and then this one? But who won it last year? Wasn't it Tetris time? I don't know. But congrats. Because he won Washington and Arizona. Last year was Scooty. Oh, that's right. That's when Scooty was on his world tour. He just won everything. 767 Somalian. All right, 800 for Somalian. There's a Tetris 833. Evesy 726. That L piece is going to create gaps over on the left side of the board for Eezy. It's going to slow her down as she approaches level 29. 9 lines behind Somalian right now. How come CTM doesn't do the overlays with stats? Peacock Hands, let me know a way that I could accomplish that with 2 players at home without using Tetris Champs. But we are watching their analog feed. which is what I prefer to do for game integrity reasons. 783 for Eezy, 997 for Somalian. Somalian's got a good low board here on level 30. Set up in column 3 for a Tetris and gets it. Eezy, oh no, that left side. Oh no, and Eezy cannot roll these bars to the left. Still has a lane open though, and she just cannot roll those long bars to the left. That is going to be a top out for Evesy, and Somalian is good and takes game number 4 to win this match 3-1. GG's Evesy. You may not have won this match, but you won the camera quality right here. And you also, perfect. This is, guys. All right, looks like both players are ready. This is a round 2 match between DanV and Somalian. The winner moves into the top 32. Let's get them started in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. On the left side of your screen, it is DanV, who qualified into seed number 20 with an average of his top 3 scores, a 1.32 million and a 90-minute qualifier from good old, jolly old England, Great Britain. I don't know. There's an overlapping bunch of names that you call that part of the country, and you guys know where it is. The UK, okay? DanV with a PB of 3.83 million. That was good for 20 on the overall PB leaderboard. And DanV was ranked number 12 in the most recent Premier poll. The former CTM Masters event winner, in fact, that was in May 2023 with our first edition of Faster Masters. It's also made it to the semis an additional one time, was top 16 in CTWC in 2022 and also played from 2021 through 2024. Regional action, he has been in the top 4 of CTUK, Austria, CTWC Austria 2024, 2025. He played over in Boston. He played in CTEC Silver. He was top 4 in the most recent Classic Tetris League season, I believe, season 28, if that's the most recent one. He was top 4. And of course, that little star next to his name, the Faster Masters win in May 2023. He's our YouTube editor. And by the way, he's one of the few players. I think maybe there's 2. Is there 2 of them? Or is Dan maybe the only one? I don't even know. Someone research this. He's won a Masters, a Challengers, a Futures, and a Hopefuls. I can't name another player who did it, but I know DanV. He's also our YouTube editor and uploader. 231 for DanV, 216 for Somalian. He won CT UK twice. Oh, that's right, 2021 and 2022. But that is not, is that in Liquipedia? I don't think it's in Liquipedia, so you can LOL at me all you want, but if it's not in there, how is anyone supposed to know? You're just supposed to remember everything? That's what I want to know. I don't think I saw it in, it is in Liquipedia? Oh, shoot. All right, well, then you can LOL me. I swear I looked one time and it wasn't in there. 308 for Somalian, 326 for DanV. CT Paris? Oh my God. I guess I got to do more research on DanV. $334 for Dan. Somalian on the right side. That's your other player. Qualified in with a 1.13. Got a PB of 1.63 million from the USA. He's won a couple of hopeful circuits and challengers circuits. He's played in MEGAMASTERS every single year we've had it, including that first year when we were just like top 32. Tetris over for DanV, 375, 358 for Somalian. Somalian also played in CTWC 2021, 2022, 2024, and in CTEC in the online years in 2020 and 2021. All right. Well, I'm going to have to update my DanV file. DanV setting up with that L piece The Z spin tuck. I guess a T would have worked there too. And why not? 444 for DanV, 449 for Somalian. Both players rolling. DanV with some gaps in stack. Long bar down, gets down Tetris 472. Somalian starting to spire a little bit. Gets a double to uncover the well and gets a Tetris down to bring this board back down to safety. Tetris for Somalian. 500,000. 483 for Danny. Uncovers that right side. Chucks a long bar down there for the triple. And I think he's going to try to maybe build on top of that row, but now he's just got a spire over there in column 3 and 4. So he's going to just have to get pieces over and just bring this down. He's got 4 rows of garbage over what would be his Tetris well, 1 row up. We had another contribution to the prize pool, or maybe it was coupons. Yeah, the coupon codes have been approved now. So if you want to get over there and do the coupon codes, we still have 46 of them to do. Use the Matcherino command in chat. There's a dirty Tetris for DanV into 19 at 546. Somalian's going to Tetris into 19 at 599. So coupon codes are there to be done. Somalian with another Tetris 623. He's 6 lines back of DanV and ahead by about 50,000 points. There's a Tetris DanV. So right now, I guess officially we'd be in our top 48. The winner of this match moves on to the top 32. Every round, we eliminate 16 players. There's a dirty from Somalian. And now just a couple of pieces away from burning away, I don't know, these gaps and holes and ceilings and whatever. Tetris Somalian, 723, 643 for DanV. So Somalian with a couple of lines in hand and also an 80,000 point lead. Tetris Somalian 808, 677 for DanV. Somalian with the black glove, DanV with the white glove. Highly relevant information. Dirty Tetris column 1 for DanV. You're going to transfer that well to the right side efficiently. Dan is set up again, 750, 905 for Somalian. So Somalian pacing a little bit here on level 25. There's another Tetris Somalian, 939. What's up, Jay? Tetris Somalian 976 on level 26. Now he's into 27. Somalian with the max out A10. Somalian up by about 180,000 points and has 5 lines in hand. Now remember, we do go all the way to level 39. Both of these players are rollers. DanV maybe with the post 29 advantage with more than twice the PB that Somalian has. But right now, Somalian with a good lead. A48 for Somalian. There's a Tetris 912 for DanV. Just had I think we had some contributions to the prize pool, or maybe we're... Yeah, we had Zelazawi, $5 contribution. Thank you. And we got a lot of coupons being done. Somalian is into 29. DanV already into level 30. So DanV, let's see what he's going to do here. He's setting up for a Tetris. He's waiting on a bar. He takes a skim there. And waiting on a bar is Dan. He's clearing it away. He's uncovered again, and he just can't get a well-timed bar. There's a bar for DanV, A31, but he's got to work this down. Somalian's still going. He's at B86. And DanV having to work this down. Somalian trying to work his stack down. Somalian's is a little bit lower. Oh, there's some great pieces here for DanV. Somalian going to top out at CO8. Right now, DanV about 150,000 points away from chasing this down. Has plenty of time, but needs to bring this down to have a chance. So CO9 is the target. DanV with 40 lines to go. Tetris is here worth, north of 40,000. So that was about, 3 Tetrises and whatever singles and doubles you get along the way. Another Tetris for DanV, B74. He's a Tetris and change, or maybe less, actually just one Tetris. But he's got plenty of time. He does not really have to force it in right now. DanV now 14,000 points away from the Chasedown. And he can just really go into singling and doubling mode even here. So close to 39. And that is going to do it. DanV with the Chasedown in game number 1. So 150,000 point Chasedown. And that level 29 advantage asserting itself here for DanV. And he's going to take this one. Gets into 39 with a C63. Good game for Somalian with that 1.2. 3-2-1 Tetris. All right, TSIZ. Oh, no, LT. Will we? That's really the big question. People making all these predictions, who's going to win this match. But, will we, during MEGAMASTERS, finally get the 7 of 7 dream where we open up a match with all 7 of the pieces in a row without a repeater? That's the real question. It's gotta be fairly likely. Someone told me it's 0.6% of the time it should happen. So what is that? Like once every, I don't know, 180 something games. I don't know how to do math, and we have 64 matches because we have a 3rd place match. And up to 5 games per match. So it should, it's not necessarily it should happen, but there's a chance. 117 for DanV, 199 for Somalian. Jay in the window says, the real question is, will Vandy miss it when it happens? I'm not going to miss it, Jay. I'm going to get it. I'm going to watch it like a hawk. I don't care about the rest of Tetris. That is what I want to happen. 167 Somalian, 186 for DanV after a Tetris. No, that's not 6 out of 1,000. 0.6% odds. Now, 1% odds would be 1 out of 100. So, not even half of that would not be 6 out of 1,000, right? Oh, wait, it is 6 out of 1,000. Right. Is it 6 out of 1,000? Yeah, it is 6 out of 1,000. One every, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. 1 out of every 180, 185 games. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I can't do Tetris and math at the same time. I can't even do either one by itself. Yeah, so once every 165 games. All right, so I estimation was in the ballpark. Should happen. Math is hard. I was a philosophy major. I can't do that. 326 for DanV. Place value. What are you? Who knows place values? You're right. All right, Somalia not able to get that J piece all the way to the left. So he's going to build, tuck everything in there, waiting on the bar to fill out that left side. He's going to get it. 354 for Somalian, 372 for DanV. And DanV has got a column 8 Tetris. He's going to get that. 398 for him, 378 for Somalian. And I should know logic. Well, obviously I know logic, but that does not mean yeah, I know logic, but I don't know. That doesn't mean I know calculus, You know what I'm saying? Just because you know logic doesn't mean you know all of math. Although you should know, place value and decimals. What's that, third grade? 447 for Somalian, 454 for DanV. Do I know skip logic? Oh, I wish I knew him better. That's right. We'll just have DanV edit the part out where I was bad at math. Thank you, DanV. All right, 471 for Somalian, 497 for Dan. All right, Tetris Dan 523 through 112, 498 for Somalian through 109. Yeah, so I know it's not calculus. All right. All right, guys. I know that is not calculus. Sorry, guys. I made a mistake on the internet. Sorry. $527 for Somalian. There is a fill-in of a Vitz for him, 528. All right. Somalian going to bring this down. DanV is into 19 at 617. So good pace game for DanV. And decent here for Somalian. He's at 581. DanV ahead by about 60,000. Just about the same lines. Did Jasmine approve of that, Vitz? I mean, Jasmine gives blanket approval to all cozy Vitz, so yeah, it's not even a question. Somalian 710, 769 for DanV. All right, there's another Tetris Somalian, 738. So Somalian trying to keep pace. Back by 85,000 or so. Other Tetris Somalian. Price pool up to $90.44. You can help make it bigger by for free by just going over to Matcherino. Use the Matcherino command to bring up the link for this tournament. And then clicking on a button that says contribute after you log in. And that's, claim code. And that's free. Matcherino every single month wants us to prove that we can get 50 people to go to a website and click a button. And so they're willing to pay 25 cents per click up to 50 for us to do that. So help us out. 929 DanV, 908 for Somalian. There's a S-spin for Somalian. He's set up now again. Tetris for him, 948. All right, DanV gonna build out that left a little bit. He's got a Tetris. He's got the max out and more, A33. Somalian one away from the max. He's got it, A14. So Somalian's been able to close this gap a little bit. He's back by only 22,000, just about the same lines. The long bar Tetris, Somalian A47. So his occupational hazard here, trying to distinguish your A47s from your 847s, but both players with max outs. And Somalian now in the lead, so a little bit of a slowdown. It's going to allow Somalian to take the lead. Dan gets a Tetris. Somalian now only ahead by a few thousand points. He gets a Tetris into 29. B27. So Somalian trying to get set up again here. Tetris for DanV into 29 at B22. So DanV back by about 20,000 points ish. There's a Tetris DanV B67. But it's virtually tied. All right, Somalian needs a long bar to the left, and he's oh no, he's gonna hang a long bar to the left. He needs to get one over, or he's gonna have to chop this down with L's, and that is gonna be a top out for Somalian at B91. So DanV in a mini chase down here just needs that. Tetris is gonna do it. So DanV gonna take game number 2. GG's DanV. DanV and Somalian. DanV looking to lock it up right now. Somalian needs to win to stay in. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Apartment, block, or a house? I'm in an apartment. Yes, guys. Yeah, that's right. We had a fire alarm, guys. We really need contributions to the stream. Because of the fake fire alarm, I was very distressed by it. Thank you. All right, long bar over for DanV to get Tetris number 1, but his board is a little tiny bit high centered here, so he's gonna have to work on this. Somalian with a good board right now. DanV gets a long bar down the right side for a split double and just brings little pressure off that board. All right, do not make a GoFundMe. Thank you. Guys, you're ridiculous. I mean, I would not count out another fire alarm happening. Usually they happen in bunches. You're not supposed to smoke inside your apartment. Sometimes people are doing that. Sometimes people are just like putting toast on and forgetting it. Sometimes people are just pulling them just for, for nihilism. But 128 for DanV, 165 for Somalian. Do I live in a high school? Not quite, but there's a lot. Oh, look at that Vits with the T and the other. Oh my goodness, that was great. Good adjustments here for Somalian. 234 through 48, 196 for DanV. Yeah, we have some, let's say, interesting individuals in this apartment complex. $219 for DanV, $280 for Somalian. Oh, we're getting a great deal on rent though. That's all I can afford. I can't afford to leave the housing projects. Someday when CTM is a billion-dollar enterprise, we'll look back on these days. We'll say, oh, man, it's kind of like Jeff Bezos in the garage, Vandy in his hood apartment. $294 for DanV, $373 for Somalian. There's a Tetris Somalian. So Somalian ahead by 100,000 points or so. Well, 96 now. Something like that. Tetris for DanV, 323. All right, the lines are basically tied. And Somalian ahead by 54,000 points. So that is about where they're at. All right, Dan cannot get a well-timed bar, so he's going to keep burning here. And just a couple of pieces away from uncovering that well, which is now uncovered. And the well-timed bar for DanV, $399. $474 for Somalian. DanV with another Tetris and a clean board. Somalian with the dirty Tetris. Trying to stay efficient, trying to get a lead up on DanV. There's another dirty Tetris Somalian, 520. There's a clean column 10 Tetris for Dan. Oh, Lucas, I can't take part of the prize pool. It's all players. That's why we need you to subscribe to the channel and all that stuff. 538 for DanV, 589 for Somalian. No, Lucas, we no. No way. 563 DanV, 590 for Somalian. We're into 19. Somalian ahead by about 39,000 points. But Somalian's board pretty darn high, so he's going to have to bring this down. Should be doable on 19, but, you know, it's Tetris. Disaster can strike at any time. All right, Somalian bringing this down, 629. There's a Tetris DanV who is now in the lead. Somalian still trying to work this down. Oh, and Somalian would have a couple of... he's going for that dirty Tetris. Oh, and he's going to get the dirty. You can see kind of gambling a little bit. Oh, no, that left side for Somalian could be fatal. Can he bring this down at all? Can he get a bar or anything over? No. Somalian going to top out at 661. And DanV is good in game 3. DanV will be moving on to the round of 32. He has successfully defended his spot in the bracket. DanV, if you want to play it out a little bit, you can. But DanV takes this one. Somalian, you played great. You took out a tough competitor in game game number 1 or match number 1. You really put the pressure on DanV in those first 2 rounds, making him chase down 150,000 in game 1. So no shame for Somalian. Did a great job against a former champion. And, you know, look good doing it. That's really the most important thing. Where, you know, we got a great shirt on. Looks good frontwards and backwards. You know, I mean, look how good that looks. Look at that. If we had, now he's facing his pieces with a frontward shirt. Amazing. Oh, now he's facing away. See, it doesn't matter which way he faces now. Doesn't matter. I got him both ways. Doesn't matter. All right, let's see what DanV can do here. Sort of a little victory lap. Mullen. I owe DanV a slide with all the scores on it. It's hard to fit 64 scores on one intelligible slide, but I'll do it. All right, that's going to be a top out for DanV. Congratulations to you. You are the winner. You will be moving on. You're the first player to reach the round of 32. The olive bracket is going to come down to Panic Portal versus DanV. Hey, everybody, this is your old pal, Vandweller, host of Classic Tetris Monthly, and I'm asking you to do me a favor. If you like this video, hit thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe and bang that notification bell. And follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/monthlytetris. Thank you, and have a nice day.